It is just absolutely unbelievable what has changed in a year. I mean, look at the differences between this of over a year ago and this today, and we did all this in like 10 minutes. So the only thing better than a Pixinsight processing tutorial is a short one. So that's what we're going to do here today. I'm Chad. This is the Easy Astro Images channel. We like to make things easy. Doesn't mean that we're lazy or we're going to make things bad, but some of these tutorials can get pretty long and drown out, and that's just not what we want to do here. So last year we did the Dark Shark Nebula here. I got about 25-30 hours worth of it in this picture right here, and keep a good eye on this baby because this is what we are going to be working with here. Weighted batch pre-processing. It has the dynamic crop. It has the astrometric solution, so we can do the SPCC and all that kind of stuff. So we are pretty much all set and ready to go, but we're going to be using a lot of the new cool tools that are out there. So let's get started on this. Like the video, comment, subscribe. If you want to see the first time I did this, I'll put a link to it right up here. So let's get to it. So we've got our main image right here, and I do know that eventually I'm going to have to do a little bit of cropping on this because there's kind of like this weird edge up here that dynamic crop just didn't take care of, the auto cropping, I mean. So the first thing I'm going to do while all this is like this is I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to crop it a little bit, and we'll go ahead and rotate the shark and all that kind of stuff the way that we want it to be, just because we're going to have to do a new astrometric solution once we do that. So we'll do that. We want to rotate this all to 180 degrees, and let's go ahead and hit execute. All right. So we got that puppy done. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and we are going to run the automatic dynamic background extraction tool from SETI Astro. This is the way that I'm going to do it, and it's going to work out just fine. So we're going to find that under SETI Astro, and we are going to find automatic DBE. Now, I've not really seen anything where it just doesn't work with default values. If you want to, you can increase your tolerance factor a little bit to like 2.5 or 3, but 2 seems to work really well. So actually have to hit the execute button here, and you can see we're doing this all in real time, no crazy editing, and we're still going to knock this thing out in a superior amount of time for you guys. So that way you can practice all this yourself. All right, some people like to take a look at the gradient that was extracted, and you can see we've just got like a nice smooth gradient going on there. And this right here is our new gradient corrected image. And we're going to go ahead and get rid of the old image here because we're not going to need that anymore. So let's go ahead and take that. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and run Blur Exterminator on this. And we're just going to use the correct only method here at the beginning, just to basically correct our stars. We're not obviously going to be worrying about any of the stellar stuff. We'll get into all of that here in a little bit. All my stuff is running super fast, of course, because I've got the CUDA acceleration enabled. I see Pixinsight just released another new platform build version this morning, and I'm probably going to have to set that stuff up all over again, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So Blur Exterminator is all done. It did its beautiful job as usual. And now what we can do is we can do the SPCC, but I'm going to need to actually fix this first. So we're going to have to go to image analysis, and we are going to have to go to the image solver, and it should pull in everything that we have on this already. Yep. Everything like that looks pretty good. So let's just go ahead and stick that on there, and this might take a few minutes, so we'll probably just go ahead and cut this out of the video. All right, that is all done. That is rad, so we are good to go. So now let's go ahead and do some of this fancy color calibration stuff. So I didn't use really any filter except for like a regular light pollution filter. So I'm just using the astronomic deep sky settings here. And I selected the QE curve of my camera, which was the ASI 2600. We want to use a region of interest. We can just go ahead and make a quick preview instead of using SETI Astro's wonderful script that he has that will find your background, the perfect background for you. So we'll just go ahead and just do it this way. That way it's a little less complicated for you guys, or maybe it's a little bit more complicated. All right, there's our graph that everybody loves to look at. So we're pretty good on that. And we can just go ahead and restretch that. And I'm just going to get rid of the preview windows because they all totally annoy me when they're there. So we'll make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to actually run some Star Exterminator on this so we can get rid of our stars and start working on everything. So we're just going to drag and drop that, let it do its thing, take these stars out for us, and then we'll be left over with just our image to work on. And we can put that back up there. And let's go ahead and just rename this stars so that we know what we are dealing with. And that is good. And we'll go ahead and just put that right down here. So here is our Sharky and all of the good stuff inside. We're going to go ahead and run a pretty aggressive noise exterminator on it from the get-go. We'll go ahead and just kind of drop the detail down a little bit because we don't really need it to crunch everything out. We wanted to do is just kind of make a nice, smooth linear image for us, which is what we got. So that way, when we stretch it, we can go ahead and get that under control. So the other thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and just drag and drop Bill's SCNR green. And we'll just go ahead and get rid of some of that green right off the bat so we don't have to worry about stretching all that either. And we will get rid of the stretch on that. We're going to go now and start stretching this. We're going to be using SETI Astro's statistical stretch program, which is just simply amazing. So we're going to make this here a little bit bigger so we can see what we're doing. We're going to be doing a link stretch. I'm going to have my target median going up to 0.25. And we'll probably do, I like to do like a little bit of a brighter curves boost right at the beginning, just because, you know, why not? And you could do a preview on this and everything, but I know that that is going to get us exactly where we're at. So already, if you just look at that compared to that, I mean, look at how much more stuff we have got inside this image. It is just incredible. Everything looks real good. And let's just keep on pressing away here. So next thing that I want to do is I'm going to go into curves transformation, and we'll go ahead and give it just a little bit of a saturation bump, not too much, because we don't want, you know, it's kind of up to you, just kind of how much of this blue and kind of, you know, brownish colors and stuff that you want. So I'm okay with that right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back into RGBK mode here, and we're going to kind of find our dark background levels here, which are all down here. So we're going to pin that, and we're just going to lift things just a tad and brighten things up again a little bit more. So again, just kind of do this all as much as you want to your taste. We're literally just pulling out more and more stuff, and everything is just looking totally sweet. So, I mean, at this point, I'm like totally happy. I'm ready to throw the stars back in and say, hey, let's just freaking put this out to the world and make them happy. But what we're going to do is we're going to make this better. So, you know, it's pretty crunchy. You know, we can obviously clean this thing up a little bit with some more noise exterminator and all that kind of fun stuff. First thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to do the little trick where we actually pull out the luminance on this baby. And what we're going to do is we're going to work on the luminance and make it like really awesome. And then we're going to blur the color information, and then we're going to put this over top of it. So the first thing we'll do here is let's do a curves transformation on that, and I got rid of it. So let's go ahead and add that back in here. And don't really want to like go crazy. Just want to kind of pick everything up a little bit here and just brighten everything up. It just kind of seems to work a little bit better when you add this back in. And the whole goal of this really is just to get rid of a lot of the color modeling and stuff like that in the main image here that you just cannot get rid of. You can start running all these different AI tools and pushing Noise Exterminator to its max and all that, but that's just not the best way to do it. So on this one now, what we'll do is we'll get a little preview going on here and take a look at how far we can push Noise Exterminator on this now. And we'll pull the detail up a little bit too and crank the noise all the way up, because I want this to be really nice and just totally smooth. So that looks pretty good to me. Let's go ahead and back out and let's do one more preview just to make sure that we're not losing a lot of stuff with that noise correction. We are trying to protect the details on it, so we don't want to like smudge everything out, but I'm pretty happy with that. So what we'll do is just apply that to the entire image, and that's going to give us our nice and smooth luminance information to work with. I'm going to delete all these previews and we'll park this baby back over here. We'll go ahead and just change this identifier to Loom, so that way we don't get confused. And we're going to take this and stick it right here. And then we've got our main image. So what we're going to do with this image is we're going to actually use the convolution tool. So instead of deconvolution, we're actually going to use convolution. So we're going to blur this thing a little bit. And you can see, let's go ahead and reset this. Now you don't need to go like super crazy. So let's just see what a 4 gives us. And we can go maybe to a 4.5. I mean, you could go like all the way up and make it super blurry, but there's really no need to. So I think I'm going to go to about a 6, and that should go ahead and do what we needed to do. So now if we go ahead and get rid of that and close the preview, you can see that we've completely eliminated like all of that little speckling and all that kind of stuff that we just don't want inside of our image. So we'll go ahead and just change this to color, make that nice and simple so we can keep track of all that. And then we're going to open up the LRGB combination tool. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab the Loom and we're going to drop it right there under luminance. You want to make sure that all of these right here are unchecked. We don't really need to do anything with weights or anything at all. We could probably increase the saturation like a little bit. So let's go up to like 6.65 and let's see how that looks. So what we should get now is a beautiful image that is color corrected and has all of the detail dropped back over top of it. And we shouldn't have any of that like speckling or any of that kind of stuff. So that's what we're looking at right there. So it did kind of take away a little bit of the color information, but no big deal because we can add that back in and just take a look. See, we don't have any of that crazy modeling and we can still sharpen this up a little bit more. So let's go back into a curves transformation again. And what we'll do this time is we'll just kind of add a little bit more saturation back in. So let's just go ahead and just turn this up a little bit. All right, that looks good about right there. And we'll go ahead and double check our image here and make sure we didn't reintroduce anything, which we did not. So everything looks super good. And that's basically where I'm going to leave this thing. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that. Let's bring up our stars, and we need to basically stretch and do the color on our stars. So the first thing I want to do on the stars is go ahead and pull the green out of those as well, just because they'll match up a lot better when it comes to what we're doing. And we're going to use one of SETI Astro's statistical star stretch, actually, is what it's called. And I just love the way this thing works pretty much with default. Like, you can put the color boost in there, and it'll go all the way up to 2. I'm going to go to like 175, just because when I made this composition, I really wanted the stars to have a lot of color to them, because it really adds to this image, just having all of those nice colored stars and making everything pop. So even if I look at them now, they look a little, they look to me like they could still use a little bit more color. So I'm going to pull up curves transformation again, and we'll just go ahead and add a little bit more color into the stars. You know, you can go as crazy as you want. I'm going to go a little bit aggressive on it, just because I think overall it makes the composition look just a lot better. So we went ahead and applied that, and that's what we're looking at. So we've got that, and we've got our color image. Now at this point, we're going to get ready to merge these two together. One thing you can do, if you kind of want to like back this off a little bit, is just go ahead and pull up histogram transformation. And, you know, you can see that we're kind of over on, you know, away from the peaks and everything, but we've got all this beautiful detail and dust, and we put the stars in here. It's going to look super cool. But some people like a darker background image, like, you know, like the one that I made here before, which is hidden behind everything. So you can kind of pull this back a little bit if you wanted to, and it's not really going to like, it's not going to hurt you. It looks pretty good, like just pulling that back just a little bit. And then, you know, you can always just keep on doing what you want to do here. You can pull it back, stretch it a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and leave it with that right there. I think that looks pretty freaking amazing. So now for the party trick. This is under Toolbox and Combine Images, and we are basically going to rescreen our stars. So we're just going to select stars. I love, this is literally like the best thing ever that they added back in the Pixinsight. I absolutely just love this tool. So you can adjust the amount. So if you want to, you know, you can bring your stars down a little bit and it will auto update, and you can kind of see in the preview. You know, I don't like that. I kind of want to add in my stars and make them a little bit more prominent. Don't want to hide the nebula, but again, like this composition to me is just all about how these stars blend in with all of the awesome things that are in here. And then we can turn our vibrance up on it, which I don't really see it do a whole lot when I turn the vibrance up on the stars. Like, I really want powerful star colors. I'm just going to go ahead and turn it all up for this one, just for the heck of it. And I'm going to hit the checkbox, and the magic is literally going to happen. It's going to combine everything, and let's just get rid of these and put those down there and just make this baby big. And I mean, just look at that image. I mean, look at that compared to that. I mean, can't believe wow, it's such a difference. And I mean, all of the stars and everything just look really good. Everything's integrated perfectly. It almost looks like the stars are being held back by the dust. So, and this really right here, when it comes to the shark, looks like he's really popping right at you. And then what we can do is we can actually run another noise exterminator on this if we want to just kind of clean things up a little bit more. We don't need much, so we could probably just drop this down a little bit. And what it should do is, we'll check it on this preview here. It should just kind of give us a little bit more of a detail fix. I can see it here. I know a lot of you guys probably can't, but you know, it's a little bit of a detail fix. And looking at this a little bit closer, it looks like maybe I was a little bit aggressive with some of the stuff, because I see like a little bit of modeling and stuff, but it's not horrible at all. I mean, it definitely from a distance does not look like a painted picture. You can zoom in pretty close, and this all looks pretty foggy to me. Doesn't look, you know, super crazy, But again, it's kind of up to you. This is like a 10-minute process here as far as what we did, showing a lot of the awesome new tools that we have in Pixinsight. And, that's what we did over a year ago. So I would say there's one hell of a difference there. And this thing just looks absolutely amazing. So I hope you guys like that picture in this demonstration. Please let me know. I'll put a link to the data down in the description if you guys want to play with it yourself, because some of you guys might not be able to capture this. I live in decent Boral 5 skies, so I guess that's why I was able to get all of that. And I can't wait to go back and start working on some more data. So love all you guys. Peace.